Right, guys, good evening. I hope you're all well. Welcome to what should be the KBB Supply Services 7 o'clock stream, but we're hijacking it tonight. Tom's a bit poorly, Lee's off, so I'm practically on my own. And we've got a lot going on in the academy. There's not really much to update on supply services, to be honest. There wasn't really much to go over, and I needed a bit of a break tonight because we need to catch up on a couple of check-ins. There's a few that I wanted to put on the live stream that are quite sensitive, but really valuable at the same time. And the theme tonight is going to be like AI, because this isn't going to go away, obviously. And there's a lot going on with AI in the background at the moment. The new sales assistance program that we've got is going to be using AI quite a lot. So yeah, there's quite a lot to go through tonight. So I want to do the check-ins first. So if you're watching for the first time, welcome. If this is your first time watching the stream, we do this every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. So what we'll be getting into tonight is I'll be doing the check-ins first. I'll be doing a few of them. Got a few questions as well. One of them is about AI from the event, which I want to revisit. We've got a few check-ins to do. Sales assistance program, I'll be going over that again because that is on its way. It is due for launch next week, I would say. Well, I'm hoping by the next stream, which is obviously in 7 days from now, that we've got something to show you in terms of, right, this is what we're doing, this is how it's going to be rolled out, which will be quick, and this is what it's going to look like for you. So I'm not going to show you very much on that tonight. I just want to talk to you about it. The scorecards will look a bit different, but we'll come on to that in a bit. And then I want to talk to you about the Facebook group as well. So there's a few things I want to sort of get going in the Facebook group. So let's get into these check-ins then, yeah? And I'm going to take my time with these check-ins because they are quite delicate. And yeah, I think there's a lot in here. So if you can make sure that you're tuned into these ones, because they're important for a number of reasons, which you'll obviously find out shortly. So let me get into the first one then, which is Sean. So I'm going to read this out first. So just for context on this one, Sean works for another company at the moment, so can't quite reveal that he is doing the academy, basically, because it would be a conflict of interest and a bit of a problem. So let's get into this one. So starting new business, so celebrating wins, what successes have you experienced in the last few weeks? So starting new business from scratch, as still currently employed. Joined in August, so that's not that long ago, but didn't really get into it properly until October time. So we're October, November, December, January, February. So we're 4 months in, really. All leads have come from referrals so far, just through people hearing of me, going private, through friends, family, as I can't currently advertise, push the business while employed, which is fine. Referrals are one of the strongest lead sources you can get, so I haven't got a problem with that. Website sorted. So website sorted, business account, sample starter pack, insurances. So this is where we're up to now, basically. Business cards, payment link provider, etc. 7 Google reviews, 2 case studies being added to the website, 3rd one submitted. Branded workwear, van wrap all designed, but can't go ahead obviously until he's left his job. 3 kitchens and 1 bedroom sale now, 2 with install, 2 are supply only. Applying for which ASAP, just waiting until I'm eligible, 6-month trading. Branded brochures, mini info packs, A5 flyers and neighbourhood cards are ordered. So getting paid currently by my employer, which covers my bills. So all profit from job has been reinvested in the business. I don't install myself, purely sales. So no labour profit apart from small markup on the 2 installs so far. But these 4 sales have got me 7k profit from 37k sales. So averaging approximately 20% profit. While I'm still earning a wage through my employer, I'm focusing more on winning jobs at a good price to win the business and build the reviews up, as I'm starting the business from scratch and have no previous history, stroke reviews online. We'll apply for voluntary VAT shortly. as I can see it picking up fast and want to get ahead of the game. As soon as as soon as I am able to leave my current employer, I will be able to register as a limited business and set up online profiles, etc. Right, okay, fine. So let's carry on with the check-in before I do the responses, right? So 12 steps transition. Where are you up to with this? Completed up to step 4, left the rest as I'm not in a position to do things like socials, etc. But I'm starting to get into these now. Scorecard and cash flow sheet. And this is another trend that's unfortunately not going away in the academy for some reason. The scorecard is obviously what's going to get brought into the sales accelerator program, which obviously we're going to talk about in a bit, and you should know about that already, where we're going to do the scorecard with you. But the cash flow sheet again, so again, we're saying here, not really needed to use this yet, really. But would like help support on this is needed to go forward. Well, just go into step 3 and do it. It's that simple. Now things are picking up. But let me just stop on this here. So scorecard sheet. So the wins are fine anyway. Yeah, the wins are all good. I don't disagree with anything in there. Just that you've done really well to get where you are with what you've done, but you're doing all the right things, branded brochures, all that type of stuff, branded workwear. This is all the stuff we spoke about last week, which the simple stuff is what's making people sales. People want the sexy stuff, but it's the simple stuff that gets you sales at the end of the day. I had a message this morning from someone that said, I've just had a lead from a van being wrapped, and the van's not been wrapped long. And this is what I'm saying to you about the simple things, like people don't believe, I don't fucking know why, but people are always waiting for the complicated, sexy solutions to things instead of just thinking, do you know what, if I wore branded clothes and had a branded van and did a few leaflets and put an A-frame outside my jobs, I'll probably get some leads. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, how simple it is. So anyway, I digress there. So I want to come back to the 12-step transition. Where are we up to at step 4? Sorry, scorecard and cash flow sheet. So I'm just revisiting those bits to say, yeah, we're moving past them. I'm not going to come back to them points. They're fine. 12-step transition, where you're up to. You've said step 4, but you do need to keep going because there are things in there that you need to know. Scorecard and cash flow sheet. So when people say things like this, I'm going to start using it now because things are starting to pick up. Now, for some people, things never do pick up. And one of the reasons why, it's like you've got to put the horse before the cart, right? And the horse is the scorecard and cash flow sheet. The horse isn't sales, right? Sales is the cart. Now, what a lot of people do is they go, well, I'm not going to do that yet because it's just your ego talking this, by the way. And I do find it very difficult not to get animated about this because whether your scorecard's good or bad, you need to fucking do it. You're supposed to be modeling you're supposed to be modeling the behavior of successful people. Now, successful people look at the cash flow and the scorecard, whether it's good or bad. If you've got money coming into your bank, whether it's business or not, and you're trying to build a business, you need to do the overheads and fixed cost sheet in the cash flow sheet first, which has all your household outgoings on there. So the fact that your household outgoings are on there should tell you that whether your business is generating revenue or not, you should still be filling it in, because we don't know what we're looking at if we don't fill it in. And this will focus your brain to go, right, your brain will work on the things that you give it. And if you give it fuck all, it'll do fuck all. Now, what people do here is they know, I'm not going to do the cash flow sheet and scorecard yet, but I'll wait until I make a sale. But it's completely backward because, all right, for some people, they get lucky where they might make a sale. They might not be very disciplined with things, but they still make sales. And then they start trying to get disciplined afterwards. You think, all right, well, I'll start doing this now. I'll start doing that now. And to some degree, I do sympathise with this mindset, but it's just the fact that it's an immature business person's mindset. And I'm always trying to bridge the gap between what you think and what I know, and this is where the frustrations will always be between us, because people will start doing stuff because they've made a sale. Now, that's fine if you're lucky enough to be in that position, but some people aren't in that position. And what I mean then, some people aren't making sales. So if you're not making sales right now, ask yourself these questions. Am I doing my scorecard religiously? Am I doing my cash flow sheet religiously? Am I doing my Sunday planning with my 90 minutes, actually working on the things that Aaron's told me to work on? I guarantee there's nobody sat there right now that's been religious with that for at least a month or two and isn't making sales. So if you're in the camp of I'm not doing as well as I should be doing, I guarantee you're not doing the cash flow sheet, you're not doing the scorecard, and you're not doing the 90 minutes, you're not doing your planning on a Sunday, you're just not, the fucking discipline's not there. The discipline isn't there. The motivation might be there to do things in isolation, but if the discipline isn't there to repeat habits, you know, and that's the horse. The horse is the habits, the cash flow sheet, and then afterwards the cart comes. Do you get what I'm saying? Like you can't, like if you do make a sale before you start doing those things, as we're seeing here, great. But it doesn't always happen. And this is where, for all of you, this is an important lesson that here's someone who's not lucky, they're putting effort in the right places, they're doing things, but some of the disciplines aren't there yet. And yes, they've made sales because they're in probably a good position to make sales because of where they've come from. Do you get what I mean? So it's sort of like winging it a little bit in the academy, and then I'll start doing the academy stuff later. But for this person, that might work. But for a lot of you, it doesn't fucking work because your discipline's not there straight away. You're a fitter. You're not blessed with contacts that this person's got. You're not blessed with the sales experience this person's got. Do you get what I mean? So this person can put less effort in some ways and get more results because they're just in a better position. But when you're a fitter, or you've been a fitter or an installer, or you're starting from absolute cold, you've been on the tools for years, you're not going to get away with it like this. You're not. So I don't, when you hear me say things like this and people say, oh, but I'm starting to get to the, because we've had a really good start with this check-in. There's some really good stuff. There's sales already there. There's profit already there. But we're still, but it's our ways round. The academy disciplines are not yet there. The proper business person disciplines aren't yet there. And these things can come unstuck. As good as this sounds, this can come unstuck quickly because when we're making sales, it's all right getting this, bit of beginner's luck, if you like. But it's got to be sustainable. Without a scorecard and a cash flow sheet, it isn't fucking sustainable. And it's as simple as that. And it's funny this, because I've had people in the past that have taken pride in telling me, oh, well, I don't do these things, but I still make sales. Not all right, really. And it's really interesting that all the people that I've had those conversations with in the past are no longer in the academy and not making as much money as they did when they were in the academy. So let that sink in, please. It's not something that you want to be. I'm glad that people are honest. But I hear the people say this all the fucking time, and it's so irritating. You've got to do these things before you start making sales, or some of you are not going to be this lucky. You're not going to just start making sales. It's just not going to happen. And you're going to be sat there going, oh, I've been in the academy now for 12 months and I haven't made a sale, or I've made 2 or 3 and but it doesn't sit with the academy's fault. This is your fault. This is your fault. Blame it on whatever you want. Oh, I've got this problem. Oh, I've got that problem. Oh, I'm struggling because this. Oh, I'm struggling because that. That's great. You can fucking have all them excuses till the cows come home. But all I can always repeat back to you is there's the framework. You've seen people follow it and become quite successful. If you're not following it the way they are, you're not going to get what they've got. It's as simple as that. Do you know what I mean? So you can spit all the fucking reasons why it's not working as much as you want, but I guarantee there's no one in the academy that's committed, that's doing all the stuff that is in there, that's in the framework, and isn't making sales. There's just not one person. And all right, there might be someone that's just starting where they've been doing it for a few weeks and they're yet to see those green shoots. But remember what we said at the event, you've got to build these touch points up over time. So the first things that you do in your scorecard, it's building up the touch points, and the touch points grow and grow and grow and grow and grow until customers start saying yes to bigger jobs. And, that's when you get better at your sales process. So that's where the snowball comes in. But to end on that point, and I know I've really laboured it, but this happens all the fucking time. And I'm sure it's in another check-in as well tonight. that people don't look at the scorecard and cash flow sheet. They think that, I'll only do that when I've made sales, when I've got business revenue. But you're not going to get fucking business revenue if you don't have these things working ahead of time. And all right, if it's zero and shit and red all the time, good. Well, you know where you are then, don't you? But some of you are emotional and it's all on vibes. Do you know what I mean? What have I always said? It's got to be formulas, not feelings. Some people come to events and get a positive vibe, but then come away from the event and do fuck all. And it's like, you can't run a fucking business like that. That's the feelings. These are the formulas. Yeah. And you can't have the two mixed up. You just can't. You can't be emotional about these things. You just got to do the boring stuff, and the real stuff will come from there. So obviously, I've got no scorecard or cash flow sheet to talk about, but I really wanted to labour that point because it's really, you're just sabotaging your own success at the end of the day. That's what you've got to remember. If you're sat there watching this, or you've been to events, plenty of them, and you still come away from it and still not done the disciplines, you're only sabotaging your own results. And you'll have reasons for it. And I guarantee they're not valid. They never fucking are. They're just bullshit. Stories. We tell ourselves stories, don't we? Oh, I'm not successful. What did I say on last week's stream or the week before? Go and ask every unsuccessful person why they're not successful. They've all got a really good fucking reason. Do you know what I mean? They've all got a really good reason why. Do you want to be one of them people, really? Do you really want to be that guy? Do you really want to be the guy that's got the reason why, I tried this, but it didn't work, and have a reason why, and try to pretend like it's not your fault? Because you're only kidding yourself. And anyone else who is successful will know you're only kidding yourself. And that story will only wash with other unsuccessful people who have got the same fucking story. They're the only people that will entertain and listen to that story. But fuck them. Oh, it's fucking shit. Because let's be unsuccessful together. Honestly, birds of a feather, the birds of a feather, they fucking flock together, don't they? Do you know what I mean? And here in the academy, there's successful birds that you can flock with, and I'm not saying that loads of people are in that category of what I've just said. What I'm pointing out there is there have been people in that, and there are a few, do you know what I mean, that do need to pick up the ball and fucking take some responsibility. As always, statistically, the academy is now too big for it to be all perfect. There is going to be a segment of people that aren't still going to make it, and some people that are still not trying hard enough and still not being disciplined enough, and then there's going to be people that are doing well. That's just life. Do you know what I mean? But which fucking basket do you want to be in here? My goal is to get everyone into the basket of disciplined and successful, because it isn't difficult at the end of the day. The only thing that's making it difficult is the excuses and shit that we come out with why we don't do it. And we need to try as hard as we can to get rid of that. So personal growth, what progress have you made on a personal level? So far since Christmas, I've cut alcohol by at least 50%, consistent early starts, 5 to 6 a.m, walks in the morning with the dog before work, listening to motivational YouTube videos, plan the day ahead, gym 3 to 5 times a week, 90 minutes planned, 4 times a week in the morning before work and Sunday evenings before the week ahead. However, I do struggle with how to utilize this time effectively due to being held back with what I previously mentioned. We'll come on to that. I'll respond to that again in a moment. So, because I've got some notes to go through after this check-in, because I made quite a lot of notes on this one. So I'm going to carry on and then come back to it. So, but that's good. There's some good stuff in there, but obviously being held back by the situation, which we'll come back to. So areas for support. Is there anything specific you need help with right now? Still working for another company, PAYE. Work is really busy for me through January, February, so I've not been able to put the time into the academy recently. My first day off since Boxing Day was to attend the live event in Jan, doing 8 to 6 shifts with my current employer, then working on the new business from 7 p.m. onwards each day, and on days off. It's been really tough. I feel like I'm working every hour at the moment, but I can see the progress that's being made. How can I keep progressing while being held back on being visible? I'm at a bit of a wall now. had 11 leads from approximately 3 to 4 months, all referrals, 4 sold, 1 lost. The others were slightly longer term, so I've had nothing imminent coming in now. I'm a bit of a predicament where I can't really advertise, put myself out there on social, etc. just yet. I am still employed, and I will need to remortgage in April, May before I can leave and really push the business forward further. Otherwise, I'm risking my job due to conflict of interest and remortgage opportunity, which is frustrating. So the first thing to talk about there is your mortgage has got to come first. So you don't do anything that fucks that up. Yeah. So that is the absolute in the hierarchy of needs. That is fucking number one until at least April. You do nothing that jeopardizes that. I can see the opportunity, and I know I can make it work. Yes, you can. Just need to hold out for the remortgage, as I just said, and be able to leave and focus on this full time. 4 sales in 3 to 4 months with no visibility, socials, online profiles, purely word of mouth, which I feel is a good start. Correct. It's a very, very, very good start. Any ideas on how to get more leads without highlighting myself to my employer? I'm working hard on building Google reviews and setting a good foundation, even from previous customers that have been happy with my service whilst still with my current employer. I've lots of good ideas for marketing when I can get my name out there. Once I get to 10 Google reviews, I'll be approaching more local builders, estate agents. I know how to collaborate. I will wait until at least 10 reviews and the business looks more established and trustworthy. Okay. So I'm going to come back to all this. Any major concerns? Do you have any worries or challenges you'd like to discuss? The only thing holding me back is my current situation, as we've discussed. This is being all done in the background and under the radar, as it would be deemed. Yeah, so the employment thing's just an issue, mortgage thing, right, okay. So looking ahead, what's the plan? How can we best support you over the next 6 weeks? This is where I need some support and guidance. I'm a bit stuck due to previously mentioned problems. Obviously, we keep coming back to that. However, out of the 5 leads I've had 4 sold. I can see the potential, but I'm being held back. So this is my timeline. So by the end of 2025, and again, I want to just read this out because it's interesting for everybody there. So the target was, when you joined in August, the target by the end of the year was to have logo done, domain website, open business account, builder's sample collection, public liability insurance, HIP insurance, Loom, video subscription, email signature, landline number, registered business, business cards, payment link provider, attend a live event, done that. Website up and running, 3 blogs added, 1 case study, first sale made. So all that's been achieved. Yes, that's a lot of list of shit. And that's all been done. So by mid-2026, this is what you're saying you want to do. Register as a limited business. 10 blogs added to the site. 10 sales made, branded marketing pack, branded brochures, voluntary VAT registration, branded workwear, 3 case studies added, which trusted trader, Google business setup, member of BIK, which is now called BIFIS, which, to be honest with you, I won't fucking bother, but if you want to. Trade profiles set up, at least 4 of them. Social media profiles, minimum 5-star, 5 Google reviews, £5,000 cash in the business, and 3 times building on board for referrals to go back and forth. And then by the end of 2026, you're saying sign written ban, paid ads, local marketing, ignore paid ads, but local marketing, yes. Paid ads we can talk about another time. Credit cards cleared, leave employer, need 3,650 a month, £10,000 cash in the business. Okay, fine, right. So let's just revisit this whole thing. It's quite a long check-in that. So there's quite a lot that I've just read out there. So let's look at phase 1. So you're not really held back. What you've done is actually really impressive. So you got 4 sales from 11 referrals, 37k turnover, 7k profit, 7 Google reviews already, websites live. You've done all that stuff. So the conversion rate is actually strong. Your real issue isn't ability, it's volume. So volume is currently restricted by design because you're protecting your remortgage and income security, which is what you need to do. So that's not weakness. This is strategy, right? This isn't like, oh, fucking hell, I've got a problem. Like, this is just strategy. This is just timing. This isn't like the end of the world. This is like, you're just in a situation here. So no matter what it is, it's like me being impatient to launch sales accelerator program. Like, I really want to get that underway, but strategically, you still sometimes have to take your time, you know, and it's not a bad thing. you're coming at it with the right mindset. You just need to carry on. But there's a strategic window here where we need to do things properly, and growth and going at it 200 mile an hour isn't going to solve anything. So what I'd say is here, you're not so, well, let's look at it pragmatically. 8 till 6, you're employed. 7 p.m. onwards, you're running the business. You're doing training, planning, and your academy work. So you're not stuck, you're tired. And there's a big difference there. Yeah. So there's a difference between being fucking worn out and stuck. You are not stuck. And that's what you've got to get your head out of that situation. We're in a situation here where we need to just let time pass a little bit. So what can we do? What should you be doing right now? That's what you're basically asking. So number one is building visible authority. You don't need socials yet, okay? What you need is Google reviews. So push that target up to 15, not 10. Work harder to get more, okay? Because this is stuff that you can do behind the scenes, yeah? And this is all brand building stuff. So instead of like having a decent target, well, while you've got time and you can't do other things, what we need to do is push these targets harder. So write this down. If you want me to send you this as a breakdown, let me know. So push to 15 on Google reviews, not just 10. Case studies, we want a minimum of 5. Yeah, even if we have to be creative, what we'll do is we'll use the reviews as case studies, even if we have to get some images and be creative with it. Just let's get to the 5 case studies and speak to us about how we beef them out if we need to. So we're going to go for 15 Google reviews and 5 case studies. SEO blogs, we'll sort them, so you don't even need to worry about them. You're Academy Plus, aren't you? So, and then get some sort of referrals with your old customers. So go back to them and see if you can, talk to them about a referral scheme. So what we want in this phase is SEO, referrals, and foundations. No loud marketing. Yeah, all this stuff. What you're doing, you've got all the other stuff waiting in the wings. Like the branded van, the witch, and all that shit. So you're already doing all the right stuff, but obviously there's a bit of a delay there where you can't push it yet. But you can prep it all. You can get it all ready. This is the stuff that you can be doing. Okay, so that's what you need to be working on. So number 2, increase profit now quietly. Yeah, so 20% is good, but it's too low in the long term, right? So we understand that you're pricing to win, and that is obviously what we advise that you do in the early days. But you're going to progress pretty quickly here. So what you need to start edging your profit up, because your conversion rate's high as well. So, if them numbers you're saying are right, it's healthy enough to tweak those numbers up. Because, all right, we want to build and win more jobs early on to get reviews and case studies. Yes, we do. But we're also talking about taking a big leap of faith as well. So we need to make sure that profit is good or better. So, because what you got to look at here is volume's not just going to double the second that you leave. You're going to have to lift the margin gradually on the next jobs. So whatever you've got coming up now, increase your margins by markup of, 10% where you can. And make sure that on your installations that you are marking up properly on the labour. It'd be interesting to see some of your jobs and see what they look like. So again, it's not mad urgent, but I think before you make the leap, let's just have a sense check of everything. Right now, just increase it, okay? So try and activate some sort of referral system if you can. Speak to previous customers, ask directly for referrals. This is you've already proven this works. Double down on what works. Because what pisses me off as well, what people do, is they have something that works. And loads of times people have come to me and gone, oh yeah, well I won this job. I won a few jobs from this thing, whatever it's doing. And then I'm like, all right, cool. So have you done that again since then? Oh, no, I'm trying this now. And it's like, fucking hell. The stuff that you've just said that works, go back and do it again. Yeah. And you've already said here that referrals is really strong for you. You've probably got a really strong network of people. And I know you can't shout about it yet, but there's probably a lot of people that you can speak to. So I'd be careful as well, obviously, because there's danger in that too. But this is very reminiscent of my own situation, how I ended up starting my business earlier than needed, because I was in a situation like this myself, and let's just say they found out about my endeavor, and I had to leave quicker than I anticipated. So I think you're at a point here, let's just talk catastrophe for a moment. If for some reason it got out and you had to make a decision, you would have to fucking push really hard with a lot of this. So I think you're at a point where and the remortgage is the one that obviously changes the game in that regard. But I think once the remortgage is done, you can take a few more risks and sort of, I would anyway, because I think if you've got one foot out the door after your remortgage is done, try and get a 5-year deal, by the way, and then yeah, I feel like after that you could take a few more risks. So anyway, let's get the builders you're already talking about. In step 11 of the 12 steps, we talk about the builders in networking. So go and have a look at the networking section of the 12 steps. Again, I know you said you're up to step 4, but jump to step 11 and go and have a look at that. Use this time to master your numbers, number 4. So you said you're not using the scorecard yet, and I've already labelled that, but that needs to change. Before you leave employment, you need to make sure you've got a cash runway with clarity. Monthly break-even number, you know that exact sales needs to replace the 3,650 a month. So that means you need to be forecasting. This is step 2 and 9 of the 12 steps. So you need to get into step 2 and 9 massively as well. Make sure that you completely understand that. Because, if you leave without clarity, the stress will eat you alive. It really will. And you're saying you want £10,000 cash in the business. I wouldn't cap it at a point where you go, I would personally want 4 to 6 months of cash in the business where if the world stood still. So one thing I always do and still do in business is I look at what's the runway that you've got. What's the surplus cash in the business? Your cash flow sheet tells you this. This is why you got to be doing it. Because what you're looking at is, I probably will add this concept into the cash flow sheet at some point, but it's not really needed right now. But it probably, yeah, it would be useful. So for anyone who wants to adapt the cash flow sheet, I wouldn't do this right away, but have this in your head. Let's say, for instance, your overheads are £6,000 a month, and your cash flow sheet saying you've got £6,000 surplus, as it stands. And the quickest way to work this out, by the way, without even using the cash flow sheet, is to just basically get a fucking piece of paper and go, right now, this is everything that I owe out, and this is everything that I've got coming in over the next 30 days or, whatever. So this is everything that's coming into me. Everything. Before people message and go, oh, should I include this? Oh, should I include that? Everything in the fucking dictionary means everything, right? Without nothing left out. So this is everything that's due in and everything that's going out, including VAT, any tax liabilities, not debt that you're paying off. We don't put that in there, but anything that's basically going out, in terms of what's left to pay out on jobs, what's the current VAT liability, what's the current everything, yeah. And we're not putting our overheads in there. We're just going off current jobs, yeah. So all cash that's owed in versus all cash that's owed out, plus tax liabilities that I need to pay in the next, whatever period. And what we're looking for there is what is that number? Yeah, because if your number is 3,650, you need that to leave. You want everything owed in minus everything owed out to equal at least 4 to 6 times what that 3,650 is, which would put you around 15 to 20k. That means that if the shit hits the fan and you don't make any sales for 4 months, you're still okay. Now that is a really realistic place to be. And I think for anyone in the academy could use that. Then the cash flow sheet tells you that. It's just a more granular way of doing it. It's more strategic. But if you ever want to just have a quick snapshot, that's what you do. This is everything that customers owe me. These are all the deposits that I'm going to send out in the next sort of week or two. You got to have a window here that you use, but just be sensible. And then everything that you've got, right? So on them jobs, I owe those out, I owe this out. You add all that shit up, and it basically tells you. And the other way to do it is to just get everything on one tab of the cash flow sheet. So I know we've got it 1 month, 1, 2, 3, and so on. But just put it all in month 1. Just put fucking everything in month 1 for everything that's currently outstanding in your business. And basically that bottom number will say that that's how long you could survive for without any sales, because that's the number that really matters in business. That's how much risk you can take. Now, if that number is 1 month's money, then you need to keep pedaling, don't you? You know, if it's 2 months' money, right, you always have to pedal, but the point is you haven't got a real surplus to play with. You know, it's cash flowing like this all the time. So you want to make sure that in there's a good runway of cash, that if the fucking world ended tomorrow and it all went to shit, I could make no sales for 1, 2, 3 months, whatever it might be. And your number for me wants to be, you could survive without making sales for 3 or 4 months. Do you get what I'm saying? That for me is where you want to be. So the way I work it out is, well, I used to, it's a bit different now, but when I was like, you know, taking more risks, I'd be like, right, personally, I want at least 6 months money ahead. Yeah. For the business, I want at least 3 months money ahead. Yeah. So that calculation had to equal at least 3 times what the monthly overheads were. And for me personally, it would need to equals for my own outgoings, personal. So for me to survive, it would have to be 6 times. Yeah. So depending on how you work things out, you can add those two numbers together, but your numbers should be in the overheads anyway. Do you get what I mean? So you'd probably get 3 months worth of overhead plus 3 months worth of your own money. That gives you 6 months breathing space if the world went to shit. Now, this is catastrophizing. You know what I mean? This is not real numbers. This is not a real scenario that's going to play out. But what it's telling you is how much risk can you take? Do you get what I mean? Could you make no sales for a month and still survive? Could you make no sales for 2 months and still survive? Do you get what I mean? And the longer that number is, that's why when people say to me, oh, should I do this? Oh, should I do that? Oh, should I do that? Like the members that we've lost in the past, where they've said, oh, I'm thinking about doing Facebook ads. Well, and you know my answer to that already. And they come back and go, oh, yeah, well, I found this company and they've told me this and it'll cost me £3,000. But I've worked out if I won 4 jobs in the first 3 months, they would just pay for that back anyway. Oh, I'm going to do it. Oh. And then 2 months later, they're fucking bankrupt. Because 1, that didn't work out. And 2, they didn't know how much money they had to gamble with. They were basically spending their VAT money and the money they owed out on materials on stuff that they shouldn't have been fucking spending it on. Do you know what I mean? So again, clarity matters here. And again, I've laboured that point for you because there's a lesson in that for everybody in the academy. To understand that number is really important. And we're calling it our runway. What's our runway number? Yeah. We want that to be a few months at least before we start playing with fire. And that's when you've got a few months of that ahead of you, you can play with fire a bit. If you want to go and spend $5,000 on a marketing fucking thing and it doesn't work, it doesn't matter, does it? You've lost $5,000, but fuck it, you just move on. I do this all the time. Fucking hell, lost way more than that. So yeah, and I still do it now, by the way. You know, we still play with things now and lose money. So again, but you've always got to make sure you're not being reckless. So about the wall that you're feeling, you said you feel like you're at a wall. So 1, it's normal. What you've built here is the foundation. You know, now you're waiting. Waiting is psychologically harder than building. Yeah, because now you've basically been building for 3 or 4 months. So you've been really well occupied in terms of, right, I've got this to do, I've got that to do, I've got this to do, I've got that to do. Now you're having to fucking pull back and go, right, I can't fucking push any harder. So that's just a psychological, when you say you've hit a wall, don't let your brain trick you into thinking that it's suddenly become more difficult or that now there's a big problem, because your brain's just used to a certain pace. And while it's been exciting and, oh yeah, I'm pushing and pushing and pushing, and there's been new things to look forward to, you're at a bit of an impasse here where you're going, fuck's sake, you know, fuck. So you just don't let that bother you too much. The next 8 to 10 weeks are a preparation phase, not an expansion phase. And that's what you've got to remember here. Yeah, is basically what I've just said. Numbers, profitability, referrals, reviews, case studies, they're the things that you can control. They're actually the best things to focus on anyway. So you're actually not missing the trick here at all. There's just some irritations around the things you can't get at. So don't let that ruin the momentum, because there's no reason for the momentum to stop. Okay, it just needs refocusing in other areas. So what I'd say for your next week focus is push the reviews up to 15, as we've said. Add 2 more case studies. Blogs will do. Increase the next quote margins by 5 to 10%. Builders list, you've got that in the 12 steps, I think step 11. So you can have a look at that campaign. Fully complete steps 1 to 4 properly and set up the scorecard and cash flow. Okay. So just to end this one, obviously you've got 4 sales in 3 to 4 months with no marketing, no socials, no visibility. And that tells me something very important. When you go visible, this isn't going to crawl, is it? This is going to fucking go bang. So the danger is burning out before you get there. That's what we've got to be careful of here, is that you are potentially burning the candle at both ends, mentally, not, physically as well, but you're young enough to do this, so don't worry too much about that. This is planned chaos and stress. It's not just stress for stress's sake. So, the other thing is, what you've done is you've cut alcohol, you're training, you're up early, you're planning. This is 12 steps. Step 1, discipline, done properly. And again, we've mentioned discipline a lot here. So anyone who's thinking, oh, my discipline shit, and there's definitely, you get back to step 1 in the academy and watch what's in step 1 again. I rewatched just something to mention on the 12 steps, actually. All the steps have been redone. So all the lessons have been redone. So they've been made easier to follow. They're not different. They're just easier to digest. So if there's lessons you haven't looked at in the academy for quite a while, you might want to just go back and reread some of the lessons, because all the copy underneath the video has been completely redone to make it easier to follow. So I'm really happy with it, actually. So go and have a look at that for everybody. But again, let's make sure that you're getting back to step 1 if you are feeling that your discipline's off. Okay. So don't sacrifice sleep in this phase. Yeah. Don't get stressed about this. You're in a marathon transition, not a sprint. So don't be trying to burn the candle at both ends. Okay. So you're not stuck. Just to summarize this one now, you're not stuck. You're impatient, and that's good. Okay. So don't force phase 3 actions in a phase 1 window. April, May is when you unlock. That's when you can start making new decisions. Right now, you just need to sharpen the blade. And when the mortgage lands and that's all done, we can push hard. Okay. Cool. Right. That's that one done for our mystery guest. So that's that one. So let me just find the next one. So this one is also a mystery guest, and this one's going to go a bit deeper. So probably 2 long check-ins to kick us off here. So the first one is there very much around the 12 steps, discipline, shit like that. So there's a lot to take out of that, and numbers and all the rest of it. So I feel like there's a lot of value in that first check-in for everybody there. So this next one's going to be way more on a more personal level, and something that's close to me as well, because of everyone has struggles, let's face it. So we're going to have to get a bit raw for this one, I'm afraid. And it will be slightly uncomfortable in places, but let's get into it. So the code name for this mystery person is Joseph, right, Joseph? So let's, let me just shut some of these windows down so I'm not getting mixed up. Right, so celebrating wins. What successes have you experienced over the past few weeks? I'm just about to secure my first job since the new year. It's a 30k kitchen and utility deposit, hopefully paid next week. Brilliant. Well, let us know if it has been paid, because that would be useful. Let me just. One minute. I'm just checking if you've actually messaged me. You haven't yet. So let me know if that has been won or not. Okay. 12 steps transition, where are you up to with this? How are you finding it so far? I've completed it to around 65%. I'm still watching it as often as I can. Now, this is where I'm going to start reeling you back in, watching it as often as I can. Yeah, I understand there's reasons behind this, but what I want to do with this check-in, right, is I want to be sensitive, but I also need to be arrogant as well. Do you get what I mean? Because being arrogant is what helps me help people, and sometimes I can be a bit ignorant. Yeah, if I'm honest, my style is that I have a belief, right? The thing is, my style is that I am grounded in a belief. Yeah, and this is my belief that some people see it as callous, and some people see it as cold, and some people see it as something that it isn't. But I'll tell you what it is. Yeah, my belief is this: a man, especially a man, yeah, needs a purpose, yeah. And when a man is struggling for purpose, his mind fucking drifts everywhere. Because when we're biologically wired for purpose, yeah, we're not biologically wired for wishy-washiness, and we're not biologically wired for confusion. It fucks our heads up, yeah. And people have got problems that I don't know about. I don't know about people's mental issues and don't understand, everyone's issues inside out. But I understand things at a very binary and basic level. And when I see people struggle, I always come back to my beliefs and go, yeah, I think I'm right about this. Because it sort of reinforces it every time. So my belief is that a man needs direction and purpose. That comes from being organized and disciplined, and then having, some respect from the outside world for being that guy. Now, that's within us. That's the way we're wired. Whether you accept that or not, that's the way we're fucking wired. Yeah. And that's why men who can't focus on things and can't stay, can't stay disciplined enough to achieve something and actually put some proper effort into something, always struggle mentally. Always. There's always a fucking problem. And I'm not saying this is you or anyone in particular. I'm just observing my own life experience from people. Remember, I've coached hundreds of people, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. So it's not like I'm making this shit up. I'm just telling you what I see at the end of the day. And the people that have purpose are just happier. They're just happier. And that purpose comes from having goals and wanting something. And we need to be supported in that endeavor as well, which is another thing. It is difficult to do all this on your own. But the next truth that I have observed is that having a business or being very well established in a business is absolutely critical if you want to be successful and financially stable. Now, when you are successful and financially stable, you have stress of a different kind, right? But remember I spoke about this ages ago where I talked about push and pull stress, where if you're letting things come to you, that's like a push stress, in it. Do you know what I mean? Or pull stress, sorry, because he's pulling you into it. But if you're pushing for something, you're striving to achieve something, you have a different kind of stress. I get stressed about stuff that most people wouldn't get stressed about because I give a shit about something so much, and I'm trying to achieve something for you and me and everyone around us, everyone in the team, everyone in the community. I take that responsibility really personally. So, that pushes me on to care about things that most people don't even see. And they're like, oh, what's he fucking going off on one about? But because they're not seeing what I see, because I'm driven to be like that. And the point I'm trying to make it is that when you're running a business and you're well established, you can solve a lot of problems. You can fucking create them as well, but you can solve a lot of problems, i.e. having money, having direction, knowing what your time's worth, knowing what your value is, knowing all these things about yourself, having confidence around that makes people in the world respect you in a different way because they know they can't fuck with you. And having money also makes you not untouchable, but mentally makes you a lot stronger because you've got agency over your life. You can solve problems that other people can't. Because, writing checks, as I always, you've heard me, I know now everything's online banking, but the point being, the analogy is write the check, make the problem go away. A lot of people have problems in life that writing a check could help them make problems go away, but they ain't putting the fucking effort into making the money to put the money in the bank so they can fucking write that check. Do you get what I'm saying? So this is where it all does the full circle. And when we say things like, I'm trying to give you some insight here into how I think before I respond to some of these things, because having a business and having cash in this world right now, as it is fucking important. Yeah. You're not gonna have the things you want in life. And I'm not just talking about things, I'm not being shallow. I'm talking about freedom. I'm talking about the ability to work when you want to work. Yes, you've still got to work hard, but you've got more freedom over it. You could work anywhere in the world in a few years from now if you really worked at that. Do you get what I mean? There's things that aren't out of reach here, that might at the moment seem out of reach. But this only comes down to having a business at the end of the day. And, when you are employed, let's say, and don't get me wrong, some businesses are fucking shit to work for. So let's just assume that it's a shit business to work for, and you've got to go to one place to work every day, and it's not a great salary, and it's shit, and all the rest of it. And life's tough, and it's tough by default. Yeah. And if you want to break out of that, you've got to sort of go through this period of building this thing that's going to get you there. So, and honestly, the two things I've just mentioned, building this business, and when I say building a business, I just mean fucking basically building a stable revenue stream that's profit attached to it. That's it. We're not talking about offices and all complicated shit. We're just talking about winning 2 or 3 jobs a month with some profit, give you a chance to breathe, a bit of money in the bank, go and live a better life. That's fucking all the academy is about. And then the first one is having the purpose. So the purpose needs to be, and these two things are linked to each other. Yeah, the purpose is this. Because if the purpose is this and it keeps us in between the lines and we achieve this, we are disciplined and, happier. And this is providing something that we didn't have before. So there we go. And suddenly a lot of things start to not matter to us anymore. It really does. So just please bear what I've said in mind there for the future and especially for tonight. Because let's get back to this. So 12 steps transition, where are we up to with this? How are you finding it so far? I've completed 65%. I'm still watching it as often as I can. Well, as often as I can needs to be structured. This is what I'm saying. We need structure around when we're doing it. We need to try and stick to it no matter what is going on. Scorecard and cash flow sheet, I'm using these. I admit not been doing one on the scorecard this year. I will stick to completing it now I have a job. Not much to put in the cash flow sheet at present. Yes, there is. There is stuff to put in the fucking cash flow sheet because you must be there's money coming in and out your bank somewhere. So that's what the cash flow sheet's for. The cash flow sheet, if you've watched the lesson, it's not just about doing business expenses. There's a whole sheet on there for your personal stuff. Because if we don't know what's coming in and out your personal bank, and when I say we, I mean you, we don't look at these sheets. But you put that in there so you know what costs to attach to your business as an overhead. So it has to be in there. And again, here's that behavior that we just seen in the last check-in, where now I've won a job, I'll start doing it. And you haven't been one of the luckier ones that's just managed to make sales. So what did I say before about the horse and cart being the wrong way around? This is the horse and cart is doing the disciplines and the paperwork first. Then the sales come. Now, here, you've made a sale. Fuck knows how, but you've made one. But now you're going to start going, oh, well, the cart's somehow managed to get in front of the horse, but now I'm going to try and get the horse back in front of the cart. And this chaos is it's problematic. It is problematic because we're not following a structure. There's no pattern here. There's no pattern. And I think what our brains look for are patterns. Yeah. My brain is very good at looking for patterns. Yeah. So this is why, again, I've got really good at knowing where to put my effort, where not to put my effort in people, in things, in everything, because pattern recognition is one of the most powerful things we can get our brains to do. So the pattern here that I know is start with your disciplines, do your cash flow sheet, do your scorecard, no matter what it looks like, do your 90 minutes, keep going, keep going, keep going. Then you start making sales. It magically starts to work. That's the pattern. That's the pattern that works. Yeah. Making a fluky sale and then thinking you can, oh, now I'll start organizing things is just fucking chaos. That is not a pattern at all. That is nothing like what it needs to be. Is this sustainable? That's what you've got to ask yourself. Is this way of operating sustainable? It's not. Is this going to bring me success? No, it isn't. And again, I don't want to repeat too much what I've just said in the last check-in, but the two things are exactly the same because both things have been said. They're fucking same. Now I've got a sale. I'll do something. It's like, mate, you could have had loads of fucking sales well before now if you were just doing it then. So I haven't got a scorecard to show, obviously. Personal growth. I feel I've not made any progress lately, but I will persevere. Okay, we're going to get into the juicy stuff now. Areas for support. Is there anything specific you need help with right now? Getting more leads. Hopefully getting the SEO through the Academy Plus on the website will bring in some leads. Yes, it will, but we need you to do your bit as well, mate. Case studies. I don't know what you've done, by the way. I'm not going off, but social media case studies. Without social media and case studies, what we do in Academy Plus is fucking pointless, which is probably 70% of the reason why we're launching the Sales Accelerator program, because there are a chunk of people in the Academy Plus that think, oh, I'm paying something for it every month. It should work. Like, fucking hell. No, it doesn't work, unfortunately. It's not magic. If you don't do your bit out there in the real world, whatever we're doing online, customers we might get more customers to your website, but they'll soon get bored when there's no case studies. They're going to go to social media and you're not fucking there. They've never seen you out and about on the streets, never seen a van. There's just no presence anywhere else. Do you get what I mean? So this will help if you help. I'm finding my builder and bark of not much use and dud leads. Well, you are in Academy Plus, so you will be part of the onboarding for that, where we will make sure that your My Builder and Bark, the profiles are better. But there are other things you could use. And those platforms, I've got to break it to you, but they do work. You know, there are other people that make these platforms work. I've been saying this for years. And I'll tell you the common denominator of people, it's like everything. People who actually have a positive outlook and try things properly, the things seem to work for them. You know, and this isn't about you, this is just a generalization. But people that go into things positively and go, right, I'm going to try this, I'm going to make this work, and they actually think that before they even try, somehow it fucking works. But the people that go in just, oh shit, it just doesn't it never works for them people. No one ever goes into something negatively and it just turns into a positive. It fucking doesn't. You know, if you go into anything, if you think, oh, I'm gonna go meet this person, it's gonna be shit, can't be asked. Do you think you're gonna enjoy yourself when you get there? Do you think you're gonna sit down and go, oh hi, and be like, oh, you know, like I've just been telling myself how shit this is gonna be. This is gonna be shit because I've already told myself that. But if you actually go with energy and look forward to something and approach something in the right way, no matter how bad your headspace is, you can at least find the few words to at least say to yourself, I'm going to make this work and this is going to be, I'm going to do this. Yeah, that's practically all you need to say to yourself. You need to tell yourself these things and you'd be like, no, I'm not having that. Like I do this quite a lot, by the way. There's times in my head where I go a bit negative about things. Because again, this isn't about not having negative thoughts. This is about controlling them when they happen. Yeah. So when I do it sometimes, and I'll do it, and I can go on a fucking negative one for a day sometimes. Like honestly, like even longer. But then in the end of it, and because again, this not all perfect. But then in the end, I'm going, fuck that. No, fucking snap out of this for fuck's sake. Is that taking me where I want? Is that mentality taking me where I want to be? No, it's not. Fucking stop it. You know, this is my self-talk that I do to myself. Just a tip for you. So, any major concerns? Do you have any worries or challenges you'd like to discuss? Is something holding you back? Is obviously there is personal stuff there, but we're using a different name. So I'm going to read it out in its entirety. and just say it as it is. So I suffer from several mental health issues, which I've suffered with most of my adult life. Still not got over the money I lost 2 years ago, and this has made a lot of things harder. The last few years have been getting worse on the mental health front, and the psychiatrist and doctors keep changing my medication to settle me. It is a struggle to work with my issues, but I always worked since I was 15, so I could not let my family down. I never let my customers down either. On top of this, my van just died and failed the MOT. So I need a new van set up, a new van also, which is not great. While I've got no work as well. So apologies for this depressing post. Just thought I would be honest and update you. And while I'm not as far forward as other members who have been in the academy for the same time or less. Okay, so let me move on to the next bit before I do a proper response. Looking ahead, what's the plan? What can we support you with for the next 6 weeks? I've tried to join Witch, as you strongly suggest. I've spoken with them. Basically, if I liquidate my old company, I can't join Witch for 3 years. If I don't liquidate, then the company stays dormant, but I can join and still owe the debts. It's a limited company. So we've said that the debts are 35 to 40k. So there's quite a chunk of cash there. So I've been short on work. Hopefully, I have work booked in for next week. So the next 4 weeks or so, hope to get another job in before the 4 weeks are up. Fingers crossed to keep smiling, it can only improve. Okay, right. So I'm going to go through my initial emotional response to this, and then I'm going to go through more of a structured response. Okay. So suffering from mental health issues, many of my adult life. So what I want to say about this is that let's call it what it is. If you've had it most of your adult life, it's probably come from something in childhood. I don't know your past. You do. You'll be able to sit and go, yes, this is childhood trauma or not. Yeah. So the thing to do there is to speak to someone who is a specialist at that. Yeah. Unlocking whatever that problem is. Now, something that I would do if I was you is I would go to ChatGPT, get a professional ChatGPT account, not the free one. 25, I can't remember how much it is. It's not expensive. But go and get a proper ChatGPT account. You can use normal ChatGPT, but the professional one's better because it'll save the chats. So you need to just write down everything, right? And you need to fucking dump it into ChatGPT and go, how do I deal with this? Because believe it or not, ChatGPT is a very, 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 very good therapist and a very good psychologist because it doesn't just know everything about making emails look pretty and doing nice social media posts. It knows a fucking lot of other stuff as well. So the first thing I would do is I would open dialogue with ChatGPT on that. And I'm going to come back to that in a more structured response. I just want to sort of pick off the bits bit by bit here. So still not got over the money I lost 2 years ago. And this has made a lot of things harder. Yeah, it will, but it's happened. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. The fucking money's not coming back. And you need to just stand there and go, I've lost it. Fuck it. How long are we going to live in the past? How long are we going to let something bother us like that? So you'll remember a few months ago, I spoke to Rob Stevenson from Phoenix, and I've mentioned him a few times now because we mentioned him at the event. You know, in the October event, he had a really tough time. Family bereavements, a few of them on the bounce, fucking devastating stuff. And I just, everyone's problems are relative. I'm not saying someone's had it worse than you. But it's how we deal with things in our head that really will determine the fucking future. Yeah. Because the only thing, what's happened in the past has already happened, right? Whatever it is that's caused the mental health issues can be undone. Yeah. It can be. So make that happen, whatever it fucking takes, it can be undone most of the time. Getting over money that you lost 2 years ago is happened. Like, you know, and it's not like my spanner's bigger than your spanner, but we've all, if you're serious in business and you've lost that money through business endeavors, trying to be successful, you are still on that journey. This is still part of that journey. So why are we now using a mistake we made yesterday to stop us from succeeding tomorrow? I understand that there's a financial hit there and it has made things difficult. It's always going to, but we have to own these things. We have to own it and go, I did that. I'm fucking daft or whatever we want to do, and just fucking drop it. The money's not coming back. You've made the mistake, whatever it was. It's time to move on from that. We've got to move on from it mentally. You close that chapter somehow mentally and ask ChatGPT how you do that. I'm just telling you, you've got to do it, because the only thing that determines the future is what you think. Yeah. Nothing else determines the future. Every single point in your life every decision you've made in your life has led to this point here right now, this moment. We're all sat here right now because of every decision we made in the past. No one else is to blame for that shit. And if you think they are, then you're wrong. You've made every decision. You've let every person into your life, family or not. And you might think, oh, they've done this to me and that's done that to me and they've done that to me, and throw fucking mud at other people. But they're just as damaged as you at the end of the day. And we're all as damaged as each other in different ways. But what we've got to do is stop fucking blaming everybody else, right? And start looking at it and go, I'm responsible for my own shit. It's up to me what happens in the next 5 to 10 years. Now, if I want to be fucking wallowing in it and pitying myself and slowing myself down because of shit that happened years ago that ain't fucking changing, that's on me. And if I can deal with that and actually use these things that have happened to me as strength, because in all these fuck ups and problems, there's character building. This is all character building. You won't see it like that, but trust me, it's character building. And you're still here, you're still doing stuff, you're still at it, you're still going. Most people would have fucking given up by now. Do you know what I mean? Most people wouldn't be where you are. And that tells you so much about yourself that you've got to step back and go, fucking hell, I've been through all that. I'm still going through it. And I'm still here. I'm still trying. I'm still reaching out for help. I'm still going. The journey isn't over yet. Just because we've had some fucking bumps on this road and just because we've come off at a few bends and ended up in the bushes doesn't mean we've reached the finish line yet. Do you know what I mean? This is not the way it ends. But you've got to believe that this is not the way it ends. You've got to start doing the stuff that makes that the rest of that journey a bit straighter. With you look back and go, if this is the track that we're on, you're probably here right now. That's the finish line over here. You're probably somewhere here. But that first bit there has been fucking tough. It's been hard. The business world hasn't been kind to you, probably because you've not been kind to yourself and you've let people take the piss out of you because you've felt vulnerable, and I think that you need to remember that you're in the right place here to succeed, where you're not vulnerable and you've got the right help and support. And all you've got to do to dial into that is to do what we say in the academy, get these things done every week. Look at the people around you. And you don't need to apologize for not being where other people are. It's not a dick swinging competition. Everyone's at different stages. Not just the time that you've been in the academy isn't the measure of how far along you should be. We understand that some people kick into gear at different times, but I feel like there's a few things here that you've got to work on to get yourself in a position where you can actually push on forward. Pushing while some of these things are unresolved isn't the solution. And it might take another 6 months to get these things resolved. It might take longer, probably will. But the point being is that there's no point burning the candle at that end and fucking wondering why in the middle it's all gone. We've got to sort of look at this and go, what's stopping me? What's properly stopping me? The money gone isn't stopping you, but what's still living up here is stopping you. All the shit that's going on is stopping you. There's a few things here that are stopping you that can be dealt with, and that's what we need to focus on. So you need to open up dialogue with ChatGPT, go into depth with it, ask it how you do this and how you do that. If you want me to give you any advice on that, I'm more than happy to. And again, you said it's a struggle to work with your issues, but I've always worked since I was 15, so I can't let my family down now. No, you can't. And that's, again, something you need to own. And you said you never let your customers down either, but don't put your purpose in other people. Yeah. We do things for other people, and that's fine. But one thing that you mustn't do, and this is one thing that I don't do anymore. I did in the past, but I don't anymore because of putting your absolute trust and purpose in other people is dangerous, because they might let you down as well. Yeah. And you've got to keep it within you. You've got to do this for you. Yeah. You can't do it. All right, we want to provide for our families, of course we do. But we want to look after us and make sure that we are okay. Because when you're okay, you can look after other people. And ask yourself this right now: is this version of you really not letting them down? In by your own standards, I don't mean you are letting them down. What I'm asking you is, by your own standards, is this the peak version of you that they want to see? Is this the best version of you that's really good for customers and is really good for your family? Is it? You know it's not. I know it's not. They know it's not. So this is where we need to cut the fucking shit again and go, yeah, I want to do these things. But if I don't look after myself first to get myself sorted out, I can look after them a lot better because I want to, remember. I can do that a lot better when I'm in a much better place. And that has to be the number one priority. Because I do this. I'm not selfish, but I do put myself first in that regard. Do you know what I mean? I'll make sure that my health and my sort of my breaks in work are there. But when I'm at work, I'm fucking at work. Do you know what I mean? I am fucking in it and on it and all over it. So I'm not wishy-washy. So, but then I work hard, play hard. I don't have like, I'm not like a fucking pisshead or anything like that. I don't like go to mad parties and stuff like that. What I mean by play hard is I spend a lot of time with my wife and kids. I enjoy that, and I make sure that even on the odd Tuesdays, Wednesdays, I don't really have a weekend in that regard. I don't believe in this Monday to Sunday structure. I think it's bullshit. I'll sometimes, have a night time off, an afternoon off, or a morning off, or something like that. Again, I'm in a different position because I've got a different sort of business now. But this whole structure is designed to make me the best business owner, the best dad, the best husband. But I can't be all those things at the same time. And if I was depleted or in a mental state like this, I would have to deal with this first. I'd have to cut. Fuck you lot. Do you know what I mean? Fuck this, fuck that, fuck the other. I don't mean go red mist, but what I mean is recognize that we've got to fucking sort our shit out. We've got to sort ourselves out, because what we're really doing is we're leaning on these people. We're not actually helping them in many ways. Sometimes we're leaning on them, and that's not what you want. It's not what we want, is it? So that's my emotional responses to it. The van died and it's failed its MOT. That's life. Shit happens. Move on. And again, you don't need to apologise. So on the business thing, I've tried to join which strongly to suggest. I think the answer is in the. If it was me here now, there's no right or wrong answer, but I think if that was me with a business that had 35 grand's worth of debt in it, and I couldn't join Which for 3 years, I'd liquidate it and I'd take the hit at this moment. And before you do anything, let's have another chat. But the reason why I'm saying that is, one, you're going to lose a year recovering here. Yeah. You're going to lose another bit of time, and you've got to accept that. You've got to accept that things are just going to be slow for a bit, even longer, and think, well, you've got to get yourself sorted first. That debt on top of everything else, realistically, isn't worth keeping on for the Which thing. Do you know what I mean? Because you're going to have to fucking pedal so much harder to clear that. I'd want rid of it. I'd want fucking rid of it, gone. That psychologically is a fucking headache in itself. So once that's gone, it's gone. So for me, I'd be like, well, fuck it. I can't go to gold standard for 3 years. It doesn't matter. It's going to take another 18 months to 2 years before that to mature anyway. Do you get what I mean? So yes, there are benefits to being gold, but initially those benefits are quite insular in terms of what the academy is about and our community and this, that, the other. My prediction is that, consumers coming in, I think it will happen quickly, to be honest. So I don't want to sort of say it won't, but I think that the real maturity of gold and the academy is roughly 2 to 3 years off anyway, because we've got a long fucking way to go here. So I would say in the grand scheme of things, let's not talk about this as an isolated all about witch and all about gold and all that shit. Let's look at this as a 5-year plan. Would I pay 40 grand to not go to gold for the next 3 years? No, I fucking wouldn't, personally. I'd be like, I can still people have still built businesses before witch and gold came about. Yeah, you'll be fine. And, let's get to base camp 1, mate. Let's get to base camp 1, because to get to gold and for witch to properly matter, and I know you want witch for other reasons, but people still make sales without it. It's not the fucking, it is the be all end all on one hand, but at the same time, people are still making sales without it. You've got to pick your poison here. Do you want another mountain to climb in terms of, right, when I start making money, I've got to start paying that off. I just think it's adding too much stress into the equation for me. Everything comes at a cost, and in this situation, that doesn't add up. I'm definitely in the camp of fuck it off and take the hit on witch, personally. But we'll come back to that. So let me now give you the more structured response. Again, we've got some long check-ins here tonight. Fucking hell. So first, the win, 30k utility, deposit pending, is not a small deal. That's momentum, movement. So after a quiet period, psychologically, that matters more than financially. And that's why now, again, even though the cart has come in front of the horse, get that fucking horse trotting. Get the scorecard in, get the disciplines in, fucking crack on with that now, and just don't take any excuse in your mind. No matter what your brain's telling you to do, you do that. So this is the main thing here. You're still in the game. That, unlike what I said earlier, you are very much in this game. You are not out of it. Yeah, you need to remember that. And you're not behind. You are under pressure, and that's a very, very, very big thing. Yeah, you just got pressure. So you've had a business collapse 2 years ago, money lost, ongoing struggles, medical changes, van failure, work drought. Most people would have folded and you haven't. You've been working since you're 15. You won't let people down. And that, like I've already said, is character. That is not something to look at. And you've got to take the real massive positives from that. So let's tackle it properly. This is my structured response. Scorecard and cash flow. You're saying there's not much point to the cash flow sheet. That's exactly when it matters most, which I'm not going to go back into. When volume is low, visibility is critical. This is what I'm always trying to tell people. People want to measure it when it's big, but you need to fucking measure it more when it's small. Step 9 exists for that reason, not to celebrate busy moments, but to protect you in the quiet ones. So that's your scorecard. Obviously, your cash flow sheet is in step 3. So for the next 6 weeks, non-negotiable, update the scorecard weekly, even if it's zeros, right? Forecast a 30k job properly in your cash flow sheet and break down the margin clearly and show us how you worked out your profit. Get that done. Make sure that you're using the WhatsApp support to send us that information over. Plan the next 2 jobs required. Structure reduces anxiety. So let's look at the leads now about My Builder and Bark. So obviously they're very transactional platforms, these. And you are competing on price and are bidding against panic. This is sort of what these platforms do. So if your mental health is under pressure, that system will make it worse, right? So maybe we shift focus to previous customers, ask 2 directly for referrals each. Neighborhood cards on every survey, builders list. Let's get in touch with builders, minimum of 10 conversations and case studies on the website, local SEO leverage. Let's avoid the stuff that's making your head fucking pop even harder. If that's what we need to do. Yeah, because if you're getting down about shit leads on these platforms, like I said on the previous check-in, control what you can control. So go and listen to that check-in as well, because a lot of that was directed at you as well. Because you need to be using the stuff that you can control and stop panicking about what you fucking can't control. Okay. So shifting focus, to repeat that, previous customers, get back in touch with them, use the referrals, ask them if they need any work doing, they know anyone. There's stuff in the academy that you can use. I think it's step 11, networking. I think previous customers, builders campaign, case studies. Again, we've spoke about that. Academy SEO will help over time, but SEO is a slow burn. Right now, you need controlled outbound effort, not hope. Yeah, this is where you can control the narrative. Going on my builder back on the leads are shit, and fuck it then. That's what I'm feeling here. We need to get that. Out of the equation. So mental health again, just to just to sort of recap on this one. So it's not depressing what you said, it's honest. Medical changes, stress, financial trauma is a very, very heavy load, okay? But here is the really important bit. You are still functioning. Like I've said, you're still in the game, you're still working, and you're still closing jobs. Just think about that for a second. This tells me that you're stronger than your mind is telling you. Yeah, you've got to remember that you're actually stronger than you think here, mate. You are. However, if workload plus pressure plus van plus debt worry combine, your nervous system will go into overdrive. Yeah, your nervous system will just shut down. You're like, I can't cope with this. Your brain just goes, that's it, done. And that's what I think is possibly happening a little bit. This will be exasperate. All these things you're talking about tonight, it's like we keep talking about the horse and the cart. Do you ever not maybe think that these, well, you've already said it yourself, but just to reiterate it, you've got to think like a lot of these things being exasperated, aren't they? There's like a pressure cooker here of shit that's just making everything worse. So for the next 6 weeks, write this down. Reduce your comparison to other members. That is absolute number one. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone else in the academy. You don't need to feel that you're behind them or anything like that. You are all different people having different experiences. Yeah, and this is not about trying to make anyone feel inferior, because you're not. At the end, no one is. And the community is there to pick you up. We're not there to sort of push people down who are struggling. That's why we're launching the Sales Accelerator program, because we don't want people left behind. And this is something I need you to sort of engage with massively. So sleep discipline is absolutely non-negotiable. You've got to get your sleep in absolute priority order. Get to bed at the right time and get up at the right time, and make sure you are absolutely nailed on with that. Focus solely on your numbers, yeah? Don't be worrying about what other people are doing or anything like that. Alcohol needs to be non-existent or minimal, yeah? You can't be throwing alcohol into the mix with this at the moment. So if you are having any alcohol whatsoever, that's something you need to deal with. 90-minute maximum work blocks, not anything more than that. So when you're working on anything, make sure you're keeping it as short as possible. And go back to step 1, standards, yeah? Let's head back into step 1 of the academy and deal with that. And I've already mentioned ChatGPT, how to use that. Use it for breaking down decisions logically, reflecting on fears, stress planning, and daily structure. Go and speak to ChatGPT about those things and treat it as like a structured journaling with feedback. The van situation, I've said, fuck all you can do about that. That's just make sure that if you need to lease a van in the short term, don't go out blitzing any money on buying a van. Just go and rent one for a bit. Keep the cost as low as you possibly can. Numbers first, emotions second. Which situation we've sort of covered. And then the important bit. So you apologize for being honest. Don't ever do that. You also said that you're not after sympathy, good, because you don't need sympathy. And what you do need is the structure and calm decision making, which I'm hoping after this check-in, which we spent a lot of time on these first 2 check-ins, you are further forward than where you were 6 months ago. You're still standing, and that matters more than speed. So you've got to just keep going, yeah, and try to use what I've said tonight to the best of your abilities, and make sure that you are keeping in touch. Okay, mate? So it's been a tough one, that, and it, let's face it, it's been tough to navigate. They've both been quite in depth, them check-ins. They're the longest check-ins I think we've ever done, which you can sort of see why tonight I've wanted to focus on them a little bit, because they're just reminiscent of where everyone is. Everyone has the same problems, and that's why we do the fucking clinics and the streams, because everyone there'll be people sat there going, fucking hell, even though these are for other people's check-ins, there's a lot of stuff here that's really helped me, which I hope it has. So Runners has asked a question about something that he sent on a business challenge. So Toll Run Limited. So I want to go through this question. So the question is this: maybe it helps someone use local website to get addresses for people who are asking for permits for extensions and house rebuilds. Send letters to them regarding kitchen bathroom renovation. What do you think? And you mentioned something about, do you think church is a good place to go and speak regarding selling kitchens and bathrooms? Offer them a £5 donation of each customer. I personally wouldn't go to churches asking that if it was me, but I'd need some context on what you mean there about that. But the first bit about builders, so should you go through the websites of companies that are, people that are doing extensions and stuff like that? This is again where your builders come in. This is where your builders campaign comes in, because who's the customer going to go to first? If they put in planning applications in, who are they going to first? They're probably going to a builder first. You know, this is where the builder and the local connections with builders really comes in. You could do this. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it, but if I'm putting effort into my journey in the first 6 to 12 months of my journey, this is something I would do when I'm already established at 1 to 2 jobs a month and I've got time to spend on this, because this doesn't come without headache. There's a bit of admin involved here. There's a bit of work. Is it something I should be doing straight away? Again, I don't know your numbers off the top of my head, but I would say if you've got time to do these things, yes, they can be useful. But you have got to put effort into this. If you're going to send letters out and things like that to people, and find these addresses and do the mail, you can hear it straight away in my voice that it is a faff. And again, my personal view is that if you're focused enough on the things that I always tell you to focus on, you probably never need to do that. So again, instead of it being a scattergun, I could do all these things, let's focus on the things that we should do first. That's the sort of stuff that I would do when I've got time in the office to burn and I'm going, right, okay, I'm gonna have a fanny about with this. You know, that's when you are doing 2-3 jobs a month. You're probably off the tools, and then you've got a bit of time to spend in the office doing stuff like that. Before that, the answer is no. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. So, fucking hell. Right, where are we going next? Paul Johnson. Right, celebrating wins. What successes have you experienced over the past few weeks? I'm getting a lot more organic leads now, and I haven't used my builder for about 6 months, and I'm roughly 90% off the tools. So I'm assuming this is another case of Academy Plus working in terms of more organic leads coming in now through the website, again, because he's an Academy Plus member, so he's been at it now for a number of months. And it's really interesting, this, because again, we're going to come on to this, and this is going to be on for another half an hour, probably, guys, as well. So just to let you know, celebrating wins. So yeah, so he's seeing the same results that most people in the Academy see. Now, what we're seeing is with Academy Plus is that it's about 6 to 9 months. So once you've been in for about 6 to 9 months and you've been putting the effort into the content, basically, and the website, and you're doing the stuff offline, which we're going to talk about a bit more in a minute. Paul's done all this, and now he's starting to see the fruits of that start to work online. So that's just another sort of plug for Academy Plus. Not because I'm trying to get you to sign up, because a lot of you are already in it, but just another sort of reinforcement that this is another case, another person now saying that they're not spending money on marketing anywhere else other than their £175 a month membership into Academy Plus, which is mad when you think about it, what it brings in. 12 steps transition. Where are you up to with this? Dropping into bits I need and watching the inner circle parts now. Making a lot more time for this now. Good. Yeah, because again, giving Paul some grace. He's had his studio to set up. He's had a lot going on. But he fucking grafts though, and I got to give him that. And yeah, I've no concerns there. You're doing what's needed. Scorecard and a cashflow sheet. Cashflow sheets and scorecards are part of my weekly must do. Brilliant, but you're not provided one, which is fine. As long as you're happy, I'm happy. Personal growth, what progress have we made on a personal level? I'm feeling a lot better talking to subbies about problems now I'm starting to notice people understanding that I'm running things now and not just there to pull them out of the shit or do their job if they can't. Yeah, and this is a big shift, this, because when we had the meeting a few weeks, when was it? January? About a month ago, wasn't it? So when we had that meeting, I think this is something that most of us, well, we definitely do. I know I did, because I got run a fucking ragged. This is probably one of the reasons why my first business failed, because when I started employing people that I previously worked with, it's difficult to transition that from, co-worker, sort of mate, to boss. And it doesn't fucking wash for some people, does it? You know what I mean? They don't like it. So, yeah, I feel like this was a big problem for him, but he's overcome it. And again, just by being straight with people and just, having to re-engineer those relationships. I'm really glad to see that you've put that on there, mate, because I know that was a fucking big mind hassle for you when we last spoke. So I'm glad that you've done that. But my case here with people, guys, is remember that you're the one building the brand. You're the one taking the shit off the customer if it goes wrong. You're the one paying the bills. So people do what you say at the end of the day, and they have respect for you. That doesn't mean be an arsehole. It just means be firm, but be fair. Yeah, and don't take any shit off people. But also you need to sort of, understand that people aren't perfect and they make mistakes as well. So there's a fine line there. Use your good judgment, yeah. But what Paul was doing was being too soft, and now he's sort of firmed up a bit. Now things are feeling easier, and that's not a coincidence, okay? So areas for support, not at the minute. Maybe a bit of help with Monday, but I think starting to get my head around it now. Good. Well, you know where we are if you need us for that. Any major concerns? Nope. Learning, looking ahead, what's planned with the next 6 weeks? Learning and using Monday to its potential. Brilliant. So he's in a circle. He's got KB Academy Plus. Business is flying because he's doing the right stuff. We're helping him with a lot of stuff. He's using the Academy Plus tools. And again, no concerns there, mate. I'm sorry I'm not going to spend as long on you as I did the others, but I feel like I don't need to. I'm just really glad that I'm just really glad that your organic stuff started to move and that you've got your weekly cash flow sheet and scorecards in weekly. Brilliant. And, is it a coincidence now that your business is where it is because you're doing all these things? It is not a coincidence. And again, anyone watching tonight that's not got these disciplines in yet, here's yet another case study of Academy Plus being invited into Inner Circle. He's doing his stuff in Inner Circle right now, which isn't much. And then he's firming up his project management skills. He's being religious with his scorecard and cash flow sheet. He's working through the 12 steps, even though he's still doing well. He's not getting too big for his boots, and he's making sure that he's staying focused. So yeah, excellent stuff. Well done, mate. Really happy for you there. Right, so this one here that I just want to just quickly cover, because I want to try and wrap up as fast as I can now, because I'm conscious we've been on for 90 minutes nearly, or just over. So at the event, I was looking for check-ins in the inbox before where they all land, and I found this question by accident actually, because I went onto the event questions, because when you ask questions at the event, they drop into an inbox, and I've just clicked on one of them by accident. But it's from Scott from SJM, and his question was, "What is it we need to be doing in terms of AI not to get left behind?" And I thought I'd just bring it back in tonight because it was really, really interesting. So AI is obviously a massive thing at the moment. So KB Academy Plus, so just to be clear on AI, KB Academy Plus is using a lot of AI. So obviously we use AI to enhance everything that we do with the blogs, case studies. We do have a human doing it as well, obviously, because we need to do the manual optimization. It doesn't do the optimization, but it helps us structure things. And, there are lots of tools now, to make things more efficient. So the first thing to sort of say here is when you're Academy Plus, there is already a lot of AI in your business anyway. Now, so let's cover where AI is already used in your businesses. You've got Academy Plus, blogs, case studies, search engine optimization. Some of it's manual, some of it's AI, but there's a lot of technology in there basically that we're using. Then we've also got the social media stuff. So for Academy Plus people, as part of the Sales Accelerator program, the social media, we're plugging in AI into that as well. So what's actually going to happen there is once you join Academy Plus, and you know, like the CSVs that you need to upload every 18 weeks. Well, basically, we've managed to solve that, where you don't need to upload it every 18 weeks. Once you join Academy Plus and it's uploaded, that's it. It will automatically recycle itself every 18 weeks. So that's something that's going to be part of the new Sales Accelerator program, which we're going to talk about in a minute. So AI is going to be used there. But where you can be using it, again, is marketing and content, social media posts. We do all the case studies, blogs, stuff like that. We don't use AI for all of it, but we use it to sort of enhance it. But we put the optimization pieces and change the wording ourselves based on your businesses. So that's already getting done. Again, we've got follow-ups, but again, your CRM system is an AI system, really, because it's just been programmed by us. It's basically still a computer doing something for you. So the whole sales process is already run by AI. So what else can you be doing? Checking your pricings and margins. So did you know that you can upload stuff into ChatGPT, like look at my pricing, what do you think about my pricing? Ask it these questions, use it as a business assistant. So you can check your pricings and margin clarity. If you don't understand something about the something, ask it. It won't replace your judgment, but it will replace the sloppy maths, basically. Systems and process building, creating checklists, and emails to respond to customers. It's all there now. This is all where you can be using it. Personal performance, planning your week, mental blocks, structuring your 90-minute sessions, decision frameworks, all the rest of it. So they're the things that I would recommend in the short term that you can all be using AI for. Now, what we are also going to do in the very, very short term, and I've used it a little bit tonight, because when I say I had some structured responses, we've started training. Not started training, we haven't really started training it yet, but what we're going to do is we're going to have a KBB Academy chatbot. So, like, for instance, the check-ins and stuff like that could at some point be automated in terms of here's a report and all the rest of it. I'm not saying we use it all the time, because I think we need to still have this conversation. I don't want to be all completely technology based. But I'll start using it a little bit to see what sort of responses it gives me, based on the 12 steps and everything that's in the academy. So we're starting to look at this. I'm not sure how far it'll go in the academy, to be honest. I think there's some things it will never do, but there's definitely stuff for KBB Spy Services that it will do, like technical help, all that shit. So there's loads of stuff that we're going to do that's going to support your businesses. But again, I've given you some things there that you can do to use AI to make sure you don't get left behind. Admin support. We are looking at a lot of AI agents as well. So there's loads of stuff coming out from us. So what I would say is, don't worry too much yourselves about AI. We're already looking at it. And that's the good thing about the academy, is that you focus on the stuff that's in there and follow our lead. Yeah. And because obviously with the CRM and the website, we're already looking at how we integrate these things properly. So I think in a year from now, we'll look back and go, fucking hell, do you remember we used to do it like that? Not that the sales process will change, or the 12 steps and all that type of shit, because they are principles. And this is what you got to understand in business, right? Please remember this, write this one down. In business, principles don't change. Yeah, principles don't change. So your 12 steps and your sales process, they're principles. Yeah, they've been learned through business experience. Yeah, they are not techniques. Yeah, all right, yes, there's techniques in each step, and in each step of the sales process, that this is how you do it, but the structure of it is principles. Does that make sense? So although techniques will change, so i.e. responding to an email will probably change, because AI will do some of that for you in a year, but it'll do it now, actually. But I think it's fucking dangerous, that, to be honest, because especially when you've got a customer on a project, I've thought about this loads of times, where you can do AI responses for customers. And I think in our sector, we've got to be very careful, because as soon as a customer sniffs that this is a fucking AI chatbot, I think it'll piss them off. This isn't that sort of sector where that is okay yet. I think that we're years away from that. And I think that that's a good thing, because it means that what you're doing, it means your value is going to go up even more, because people that are using automated responses and all this fucking shit, which is great, by the way, in a lot of cases, but for someone who's spending 10, 15, 20 grand more on a kitchen or bathroom, they don't want to speak to a fucking chatbot. Do you know what I mean? They want to speak to you. And I think that you shouldn't breach that barrier. You know, I really do believe that I'm not even close to the opinion that that is okay. I think that you and your customer need to have proper human dialogue. I think the second they sniff that this isn't, because the thing is, the fucking ChatGPT or whatever might be what you use could say something to the customer that drops you in the fucking shit. Do you know what I mean? And promises them something that pulls something out your terms and conditions. And do you know what I mean? There's a fucking minefield there, which I don't want to step on, not even 1 foot. So don't get carried away with it, for sure. That's the thing I would say. Don't get carried away with it. But we might use it to automate like coaching responses, you know, and technical help responses and stuff like that. Not because we can't be asked, but because it makes sense, because all that data is quite static. It's all there. Do you get what I mean? And what you're after is an answer. So what we're going to do is train the chatbots on these things and then try them and see what happens. Obviously, with your blessing. If it's shit and it doesn't work, we won't use it. But I think we need to try these things, because I feel like in the 12 steps, because people send us messages into the WhatsApp sometimes, and partly one of the reasons why we moved into this new system was because it will be AI enabled at some point. Well, it is now. But the point being is that we can get it to give you answers fucking 24/7, because most of the time it's just picking stuff that we've already recorded that information somewhere in the 12 steps or in the sales process. Do you get what I'm saying? So we can train the AI basically on how to answer these questions, which would be good for you, good for us. And I think the way we probably do that for us to you is have responses that go out based on certain things, maybe at certain times of the day when we're not available. And then if there's anything incorrect in there, a human would always check it. That doesn't mean that we're going to lose again the human connection between us, because we won't. You know, there's going to be conversations, but then there's going to be, probably use a separate number for the chat bot. We won't have it in our usual groups, but we're going to try it, and hopefully it works, because I mean, again, it might be something we just put in the academy somewhere. We don't know. But the thing is, the possibilities are endless, but we've got to be careful with it, because you know, from between us, we can do a bit more of it, because you're asking for stuff that's readily available somewhere. You're not sure where to find it or whatever. You know, I mean, that's where chatbots are perfectly brilliant. But when you've got a customer that's in a middle of a project and might be having a problem and might email you, the fucking last thing you want is that chatbot saying anything to them. You know, so this is where you either use it or you don't use it. And I think for you guys in that regard, you don't use it for those purposes. We could, you don't. So again, I hope I'm making that clear on the use of AI. There's a lot of things I've given you there that you can use it for, but right now you're not going to get left behind, not in this industry anyway. Okay, right. So very quickly, want to cover sales assistance program. I'm going to kick this into next week's stream. Hopefully by this time next Wednesday, I'm actually showing you this is it. I have got some stuff to show you, but we're running short on time now, so I don't want to sort of spend too much time on it, because what I want to just tell you is that sales assistance program is for everybody in Academy Plus, unless you say, fuck off, I don't want your help. We will be changing the scorecard lesson to a new scorecard, so you'll have a different scorecard. And then basically there'll be a weekly or bi-weekly nudge from us. It'll probably be an automated message that says, don't forget to do your scorecard, and we'll try and have a conversation with you in that time to make sure things are moving on, and make sure that we're doing the stuff in Academy Plus that you need us to do, and that you're feeding us the right stuff, which again will cover off more on what I covered this on last week's stream, where obviously offline you need to do like your van sign writing, your ordered, your branded brochures, your online profiles, you know, all the stuff that basically makes you visible, and we'll help you with some of that. We'll do the blogs, case studies, SEO, all the rest of it. Because what we've done with this program is we have reversed engineered what actually works for people. And we've gone, fucking hell, that is what the people who are doing really well, that's all they're doing, because they're not superhuman, these people. They're just doing the fucking basics and consistently. So it'll be a new scorecard lesson, like I've said, the first 3 months plan. So what we've also got now in the selling toolbox, if you go to the app and go to, I think, trade account services and go to your selling toolbox, you'll be able to buy brochures, whatever you need from the selling toolbox. You'll be able to get on Klarna. I'm not sure what the payment options are on Klarna. I just know that Klarna's on there where you can spread the cost. So basically, if you want to invest in your business a little bit, go, right, fuck it, I'm going to get the mini info packs, I'm going to get the brochures, I'm going to get all these things. Then head into the app, go to trade account services, scroll down, and at the bottom, I think you'll see, let me just double check that that is the right place. But it's in the app. Everybody should have the KBB Supply Services mobile app. Fuck's sake. And when you, let me just check I'm not talking shit. Trade account tools. Yeah. Scroll down to the bottom, open your selling toolbox, and then add to your basket what you want. And then in the checkout page, you can use Klarna so you can spread the cost. And again, we've put that on there specifically for this program. So people aren't going to turn around and go, oh, you know, oh, it's a bit much that, fucking hell, you know, you're investing in your business here. So we are making it as easy as possible. And then the social media, like what I mentioned very briefly a minute ago, is within this program, we have got a system within the CRM system now that once the first 18 weeks of the CSV has been uploaded. So what we mean by that is in step 5 of the 12 steps, we give you 18 weeks worth of social media posts that just gets uploaded. Now, a lot of you do this, some of you don't. But basically what will happen is we will upload that for you and it will auto upload every 18 weeks. So basically, once it's done, it's done. All you then need to do is do your job updates and the rest of it will sort of, we'll do for you basically. Which is a new thing that we've just launched. So again, that's all good. And then the last thing before finish, sorry, it's been a long one tonight. So the Facebook group, what I'm going to talk about this more next week, but what I'd like to do with the Facebook group is, and what's triggered me a little bit here with this is the events are so good when everyone gets together and everybody says how good it is to be at the events. But the Facebook group is basically the event room. You know, everyone that's in the room is in that Facebook group. The news and updates WhatsApp group is just basically for us to fire things out to you to go, right, guys, you know, just prompts and reminders on shit. Then it's not really like a discussion forum. So I feel like we need to get back to using the Facebook group properly. So what we should be using it for is posting job updates. So what I want you to do is when you're posting job updates, and by job updates, I mean the ones where you're talking to the camera, do not post pictures like off your CSV or promotions of your business. There's no point. It gets picked up as a spam filter and it won't be posted, yeah, because it's seen as a promotion. There's no point in promoting your business to other fucking trade partners. What's the point? But showing people your job updates is interesting for everyone, and take the piss out of each other. Have a laugh, you know, let's do this. Ask each other questions, sharing your success, encourage new members to be part of the community. I feel like there's a responsibility here that when we're putting stuff out on social media, we should be sharing with the group what we're doing and get people in the group following you. There's like 1,200 people in that group. You know, you follow each other, make sure you communicate with each other, because this togetherness is important. And we're going to have a big push on the community side of things over the next few years, because it is really important. We've got the streams like tonight. We've got the events, which are great. The events are going to get bigger and better, by the way. We've got big plans for the events, especially with the things we've got going on. So, you know, this is going to be an exciting time. And I feel like the lame duck that we've got at the moment is the Facebook group. And we're just as to blame. You know, I'll start putting some stuff in there, some motivational stuff, a few bollockins, whatnot. But I feel like we all need to take responsibility for this Facebook group. There's 1,200 people in there. There's a lot of new members. There's people that are experienced. There's people that need your help. You know, I want you to sit there and go, you know, what you've got, if your business is doing well, is valuable to people in the group. And I want you to know who each other are all over the country and I want the new people coming in to feel warm and welcome. I feel like we're all really shit at the minute at making that group a nice place to be. So I'll speak to Lee more about this when he's back tomorrow, because I want a bit of a plan around this Facebook group as an action point, because I feel like it's a great thing that we're not using, because it is because in WhatsApp we can't like and comment and do stuff like that in a community group. It just literally admins can post and that's it, because it is just for sort of updates and shit. Whereas I feel like we're missing that sort of dialogue and that bit of banter, and that bit of that community vibe going on. I feel like the Facebook group is where it is, because digitally it's the only place it can be. So I think it's something we need to address, and I want to just put it on the radar tonight, because it's important. I think that we start using it again. But please don't use it for customer service inquiries. Don't use it for design questions. If you post stuff about, I've had a delivery and something, did that just get deleted? We're not doing that in the Facebook group. You've got WhatsApp support for that. And again, don't put any promotional content in there. It's not interesting to other members, what your business is doing in terms of, look at my new kitchen. Yeah, we all know, because we've all got the same kitchen. Do you know what I mean? There's no point. But your job updates, stuff that's interesting about you and your business, the stuff that's interesting to customers is interesting to people in the group as well. And I really do encourage you all to repost into there as often as you can, and let's give each other feedback, and where appropriate, take the piss out of each other as well, because I feel like that's something we need to do to keep us grounded, let's just say. Okay, right, we're getting up for 1 hour 50. I am my throat's killing, and I just want to end this by saying well done to there's been 2 really big check-ins here tonight, and lots of lessons in that for everyone. It's not always easy, is it, this? But life isn't fucking easy either. It's not the academy that's not easy. It's just life. It's choosing to be anything that's something in this world is difficult, but sitting on your ass and doing fuck all is difficult as well, because mentally that brings other challenges. So we might as well embrace this one together and have a good crack at it, yeah? So if you need anything, you know where we are. I'm going to sign off now, and I'll see you next week, where we will be giving you hopefully a launch plan for Sales Accelerator program, and having a bit more of a plan for this Facebook group, and heading into this Sales Accelerator program with a bit of tenacity, because it's not just for getting people going, it's for keeping people safe. And I don't want you sat there going, I'm already smashing it, mate, I don't need it. Believe me, you'll get humbled fast at some point. No matter how good you are, there's a bad month on its way. There's always a bad month on its way. Trust me, you're never immune to a bad month, right? Or a fucking bad year. Don't get cocky. This program, don't sit there thinking that you'll be, exempt from it because you're doing well. We've got you to a point where you're doing well. This program is designed to get people up to your level and keep everybody there. It's not just about helping people that are struggling or anything else. It's not even about them people, really. It's about keeping you safe and getting them up to your level. That's the message for you if you're doing well. And if you need to be doing better, this is the solution. It really is. But you've got to fully engage with this, okay? Because it ain't difficult. When we break it down for you, when we roll it out, you'll be like, really? Is that all I've got to do? You should be excited about this. Because again, there's a fucking lot of investment and time and effort going into this. I'm betting on you all here. Big time, okay? Right. See you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.